the interesting things about the portfolio paper is that, well, if you're running a multi-strategy hedge fund, it's probably the wheelhouse. But the concepts are important for anyone. If you're an individual investor and thinking about how does my portfolio fit together? Okay, I've got bonds. I think those are a defender. I've got an equity allocation. I think that's a booster. Do I have any gold? Do I want to have gold? Do I have alternative strategies? And how are those alternative strategies going to behave in a time of not only market peril, which we probably have a good window into, given what we've gone through in 2020, but how are they going to perform if we see irrationality come and bubbles happen on the upside? Because all those things can very much happen, and you've just got to think, how do the individual pieces of your portfolio fit together in different market climates and in some extremes? I think that's probably the one thing we don't do enough is, no one thought market down 30% in a month and a half was probably reasonable at the beginning of this year, but it is, and it happened. We have to deal with it and make adjustments where they make sense and continue with taking risk.
I like that. I mean, is there a clear mapping between the preferred portfolio idea and a more sort of generalized risk parity framework? Do you see a direct mapping there, or do you draw any, or are there major distinguishing features between the two that you would want to highlight? I mean, I see this sort of idea of the boosters, defenders kind of framework as being an overlay on the general idea of risk parity, I think. So I think and then classifying them using this sort of average correlation versus standard deviation correlation idea. I really like that. But do you agree that there's a lot of parallels or overlap there?
It's actually, I've never thought of that, but you've got a point. When you consider the all-weather portfolios that managers have put together that are risk parity-ish or directly risk parity, it is pretty similar, yes, or certainly from a high level of how is an asset going to perform in different, and certainly this is macro environments, and then making sure we've got enough of all those buckets. And obviously the million-dollar question is how much of each bucket to perform under all scenarios to maximize our ending wealth, if you will. But yeah, there is a fair amount of overlap there.